So recently, I've put a decent amount of thought into what I want my last few series to be on NHL 17. NHL 18 is on the horizon. We're just a few short months away, but I still feel like at the moment on the channel, we have a good balance. You know, despite Be a Pro being infrequent, we do have 2 series for both Franchise Mode and Ultimate Team going on at the moment. With Ultimate Team, you have Bork's Battalion, which I won't get into details, but I feel like that series has been revitalized. And if you don't know what I mean by that, go watch the series. What's the matter with you? It's not too late to get caught up. And then with Matthews versus Laine, we started that up recently. I feel like that's going well. But when I think about other ideas that I could have done with Ultimate Team this year, even say with Matthews versus Laine, where maybe we should have started with a bronze team. Just having those players start with a bronze team and then build it up to gold, silvers, whatever. There's many options and many, I guess, unfulfilled or simply unattempted ideas that I could have had in Ultimate Team this year. It's not too late, though, but who knows what will happen moving forward. And then with Franchise Mode, again, kicking around some ideas, but at the moment we do have Rebuilding Hockeytown and A Nation United, and I am enjoying both of those series. But with those series, they tend to end up going a certain way. We get some big free agent signings, we're able to make some blockbuster trades, and typically the team ends up being a dynasty fairly quickly. So I typically, think of ideas. It's like, okay, how can I really handicap myself here? And with the Nation United, only using Swedes in that series, that's a pretty decent handicap, but nowhere near that difficult to overcome due to the caliber of players that are available to us. Which led me to think of going with this idea. Now, I'm not going to sit here and claim this is an original idea. I genuinely don't know if any other YouTuber has done this before. I'm assuming. It's so hard to think of original ideas. It really is. So many YouTubers and only so many twists that you can put on a simplistic mode. But that brings me to this video. This video, which if you're watching it when it's been uploaded recently, consider this a test run. Consider this an unofficial episode 1. Although, if you're watching this in the future, in a playlist or something, you'll know whether or not I decided to stick with this series. But that's what I want this video to be. The test run, where I let you guys know what I'm thinking of here, and if it sounds like a series you want to watch, then good. Cool. We'll go for it. If not, hey, you can't bat 1,000. Anyway, this video, this series, potentially, is what I'd like to call Draft to Glory. Now, when you hear that name, you would typically think of Ultimate Team, whether in FIFA, with the FUT Draft, or Draft Champions here on NHL 17. But in the context of this franchise mode, Draft to Glory for me would be simply building a dynasty out of players that we've drafted. Bizarre, I know. The catch is, beyond that, no trades. No trades, no free agent signings, although if you guys want to say, like, oh, you can have one free agent signing per season, cool. The point is, though, I always rag on how bad the scouting system is and the draft system is. So let's put that to the test. Can I make a dynasty out of players that we have drafted? That's the hope. I want to see if we can do it. And the other twist. Don't think it's going to be as easy as, oh, you're starting with the Boston Bruins, for example, which we're not. I am actually going to use a Metro team, and I'm going to use the Capitals. Whenever I do a poll for what team should we use next, they're typically at the bottom just because of how good they are starting off. So we're going to use them in this series because, once again, it's going to be a fantasy draft. But this time, we're not just going to pick the best player available. We're not trying to build an amazing team right here and right now. No, what we are going to do in this fantasy draft is take the lowest overall player in the game every single time. The lowest overall goalies we can possibly draft, the lowest overall defensemen, the lowest overall forwards. I want as bad of a team as we can possibly get, and that is where the draft to glory part really comes in. That's where the importance of the draft really shines, because we are going to need to hit on every single pick we make if we want to have a contender within the first few years. If we want to have a contender at all. In NHL 16, I ran a series called Nations United, where we used players from teams, or from nations, I should say, from outside the traditional hockey powers. No Canadians, no Swedes, no Finns. And we struggled. We absolutely struggled. Now, there won't be a limit on what player I can take. I mean, I can take Canadians, I can take Swedes. But again, no trades. Which means I get 7 picks a season. 1 first-round pick, 1 second-round pick. You get the point. I have 7 picks each season to try and hopefully build a dynasty. Will we be able to? I don't know. But I am looking forward to the challenge. Now, we are going to turn off the cap penalties as well, and from there, I think we're good. Yep, I think we're good. Draft pick ownership, though. Back to classic. That way, we all have the 7 picks. We are good to go. Waiver notifications, which isn't going to be a factor. I'm turning off auto-rotate goalies. A lot of people are going to be pissed about that. But aside from that, we're good to go. Let's draft this team, shall we? Let's draft this team. Now, of course, the order of where we get our first pick doesn't matter. Completely irrelevant. We're picking 18th, and that is just fine. I don't know how this series is going to go. I simply don't. But, again, let's see if we can build a team. Let's see if we can build a dynasty from a horrific starting point. And actually, you know what I want to do? I want to make sure that I don't take someone like Movare, because he actually has decent potential. So what we're going to do, and it's a shame, I actually thought there'd be lower overall guys than 53s, but that's okay. That's okay. We can make this work. Our first pick is going to be Patrick Seifert. I don't know. Nice grin, though. I can appreciate that. And he is going to be our first pick. We should be able to just breeze through the draft process of this. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I want to know who picked who. At the end of this, we'll be able to scroll through and showcase who went where, so you guys at least know the teams. Let's see. Next pick. I believe this guy plays for Rochester. Daniel Muzito Bagenda. Welcome aboard with your low AHL top 6 potential. Fantastic. Now, I could have done the fantasy draft portion of this off screen, but a lot of people with the fantasy draft videos I've done, nobody's really said like, oh, you should have just skipped it. That was so boring to watch. You guys have been enjoying the longer videos on the channel as of late. So who am I to say no? If this is another marathon, that is fine by me. But like I said, it's not a matter of like, oh, I need to make sure we get this guy and this guy. No, it doesn't matter. I can take whoever the hell I want that has extremely low value, including Colin Murray, a 26-year-old grinder. So are we going to get killed in the first few seasons? Probably. Definitely. But that's the point. We want the guys that we draft to be the focal points of, the anchors of the franchise. And running a series this way, that's how it will be. With rebuilding Hockeytown, some of the moves that we've made there, the goal always was the players we draft in the first 2 drafts, the first 2 entry drafts, were going to be the staples of that series. And that changed a little bit, as you would expect. You end up making certain trades, you end up getting certain free agents, stuff like that. It always tends to change. But here, where we're not allowed to make any trades, at least for players or picks. I mean, eventually we might hit the point where we have to move players out, but I'm not all that concerned. That would be way down the line if we were actually somehow able to build a team that ended up in the situation like we've seen with previous series of mine, whether it be the Columbus / Nordique series, the Vancouver series, maybe even some of the other series that we've done on NHL 17. Again, I'm not saying any details. If you haven't watched one of those series, again, what's the matter with you? Go watch those. Watch this at the same time. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy. But this is going to be interesting. The game as well will end up signing players for me at the AHL level, which could be a bit of a problem. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to want to do about that. What I'll probably do is just go to the free agent list and sign the lowest overall guys there so we can actually have a team and not... Because at the end of this draft, we're going to have like 33, 34 players. So we are going to have to fill out the roster a little bit. And that'll be really the only time, like I said, that I plan on making any free agent signings. Like I said, we could make a rule, and as I always mention with my series, I want input from you guys. We could make a rule that says, oh, well, if you miss the playoffs, you can pick up one guy from free agency, or something like that. Or it could just be, no free agency at all. That simply doesn't factor into the series, which, maybe wouldn't be too bad. Maybe it wouldn't be too bad. Now, as far as who we take next, we have a low backup, or the high AHL fringe. The high AHL fringe, because he's 25. Is that Steve Racine? Is that your name? It is! How did I know that? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And there was another guy there who was like 28. I think his name was Pitton. He'll be our last goalie pick here. And we'll be good to go there for goaltending. We are going to get smoked. And it's kind of what I like. I mean, the first draft, we may end up with we might end up with Nolan Patrick, but he's not going to have really anybody else to work with for at least a couple of seasons. There won't be anybody for, say, a Nolan Patrick or a Nico Hischier to rely on. They would literally be a one-man army, and it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. So goaltending, we're good. Let's get back to some of these other picks. I was tempted, and I know some other YouTubers have done this, fantasy draft where you take the oldest player, stuff like that. Maybe again, something I can do in the future. Like I said, I'm kicking around a lot of ideas. A lot of you guys mentioned in the comments, oh, do this series, do that series. Like a Legends series was a big one. I know that's X-Tech's thing. And I'll leave that to him because, my God, my God, at least for NHL 17, with the nearly 200 people I have created to make these rosters a bit more authentic, I cannot bring myself to create legends. So, and I wouldn't want to just do something like one legend per team. I mean, yeah, you could, but I prefer the way he did it, actually, with just a shitload of legends. But anyway, like I said, a lot of ideas. And obviously, we're not going to get to every idea that I have on NHL 17. And that's fine. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I plan on being here for quite a while. I've enjoyed my stay on YouTube so far. And I think that's going to continue for quite a while. I don't know. Just have a good feeling. I've mentioned that a couple of times. I have a good feeling about this summer coming up. I have a good feeling that we're going to be in a very good spot as we head towards NHL 18 and beyond. I got a good feeling. Let's see, who is this next guy? Miles Coolis. Coolays. Potato Chip. I'm going to call him Potato Chip. He's never going to play. He is never going to play. Jake Dotchin, a Maple Leafs fan's favorite player. I've mentioned him a couple of times, but I remember when Brad Marchand speared Jake Dotchin. And I'm not saying that Marchand was right to do that. No, that was still a dick move. Literally a dick move. However, it is funny how he was the scum of the earth And then Jake Dotchin cheap shots a couple of Leafs both on the NHL and AHL rosters. And now he's public enemy number one for the most part. I'm just saying there's something funny about that to me. I'm not defending Brad Marchand being a cheap player, because he is definitely that at certain points. We will take, is that Gary Nunn? It is. Wow, we actually have to scroll up a little bit for picks here. Like I said, I am looking at the overalls. I'm also looking at the potentials. I want this to be difficult, damn it. And difficult it will be. But I hope you guys are enjoying the fantasy draft portion of this. I kind of explained all the rules and the purpose of this series right off the top. So, once again in the fantasy draft video, I don't have a whole hell of a lot to say at this point. It's not like I want to sit here and name off every pick that we make, because, they're irrelevant. Like, every single one of these players, it's like, wow, who gives a shit? Who cares? McParland. I'm not taking shots at the guy. I'm sure in real life he's a great hockey player. To be in NHL, you had to have made it somewhere, even ECHL level. And ECHL players are still some of the best ice hockey players in the world. AHL players are amazing. So, you can't view it as, ECHL, that's just a nothing league. Like, no, there's some damn good players. There's some damn good players at the AHL level. Nicholas Ryu? Aha! Again, recognizing some of the names. I have a feeling that's just a not necessarily a bad habit, but with I haven't lied about saying how much I've edited rosters over the years, even before I started making videos. It's been a thing since I was a kid to try to get as accurate of rosters as possible. It hasn't always been a thing to edit potentials and overalls, but to, get as accurate of a roster as possible. So there's a lot of these names that I recognize and have absolutely no reason to recognize them aside from that. But let's avoid a lot of these high potentials. Jacob Middleton, is that you? It is. 7th round pick of the LA Kings. And you'll probably be our captain this year at this rate. You have a picture, so you'll be our captain. That might honestly be the way that we have to decide it. I cannot wait to see how bad of a team we are in year one. It is going to be incredible. It is going to be incredible. Now, as far as the actual draft here, I am going to try to follow the guideline that it has listed. So we're going to take 3 more defensemen. I wish the draft was, longer than the 32 picks. It would be nice to not have the game sign players at the AHL level for me. But, oh well, there's nothing I can do about that. I might end up signing those players that, signs for me, or we'll just leave them at the AHL level. The problem with that is, once I get players that I actually, want and will be a part of this series, I can't use best lines to make sure that they get put into the lineup, and you have to edit the things. And my God, this thumbstick is not cooperating at all. But we have 2 more defensive picks to make. We are at, a 63 overall at this point? Yes, we are. So it's going to be McDonald next, Jacob McDonald. And then after that, we're going to get a 64 overall player. Do I want Matt Cato or Chris Rumble? I'm going to take Chris Rumble. Pretty sure he was on the Binghamton Senators. I could have taken the guy with low AHL top too. I should have done that. Oh well, I don't think it's going to make a difference. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I don't think we're, suddenly going to win like 5 more games this year because of the pick I made. I'm pretty sure we're going to be garbage. You watch, though. You watch. If I make the playoffs in year 1, I'm going to die of laughter. If we win a series, a postseason series in year 1, my God. If we win the cup in year 1, if we win the cup, I will. I don't know. I can't follow that up. I can't follow that up with anything. I'll do something. I don't know. We'll see. I was going to say something, but I'm like, man, that's really not much of a punishment, and I might do that anyway. What could I have meant? Maybe, I don't know. A giveaway of some kind? I don't know. Do I want to be a YouTuber that gets a reputation for having giveaways and maybe possibly can't back it up all the time? I don't know. Are there YouTubers with that reputation that, fans of those YouTubers might feel like I'm taking shots at them? I hope not, because I'm genuinely not. Oh boy, I love fantasy drafts, man. I love them because I just sit here and I try to stay on topic and make, concise points. And then right around this time, I just go off the rails and lose my mind, lose my train of thought, and just ramble. Absolutely ramble incoherently for no reason whatsoever. I love it. Again, I don't take myself too seriously. I love it. I absolutely do. The bigger of a goof that I look like, the better. That is for sure. Riley Wetmore, our captain. Riley Wetmore, you will be our captain. Maybe. You might get a letter. We'll see. I hope you're actually decent at face-offs, but I don't even care to look tactically. We're just picking centers, and that's fine. I'm so excited to see what our starting team is going to look like. I am so excited for this. Just for how bad of a team that we're going to have. And, like I said, we'll probably end up with the first overall pick in year one. It's nearly impossible that we don't. But, again, it would kind of be like having, say, Team Matthews and Matthews versus Line A starting with all bronzes. That's kind of what we're replicating here, just in franchise mode form. So it's pretty damn sweet. I need to make sure I take a center. I didn't scroll over far enough. That would have sucked. It wouldn't have been game-breaking or anything, but that's okay. So like I said, doing something that I was thinking I should have done in Ultimate Team, and just doing it in franchise mode instead. And we'll see how it all pans out. But here we go. We have 2 more centers to pick, and then the fantasy draft process is done. How do you like that? So we'll take Derek Army. Derek Army. Hell of a name. You can be our captain. You can be our captain. And we're all ready. Oh, wait, that was our last pick. Oh, well, beautiful. Okay, then. Shit. Well, there you have it. The Washington Capitals. Let me quickly scroll through. I'm not going to obviously read off every name. I'm just going to scroll through every team. So if your favorite team comes up, or if you want to look at all of these teams, I know it can be kind of troublesome, but just pause once I scroll over the team that you want to see. Simple as that. Because otherwise, Jesus, could you imagine me sitting here naming off everybody? I would probably die. I would probably die or completely lose the ability to talk for the rest of my life, which I don't know about you guys. I'm a fan of talking. I am a fan of talking, and it's kind of important for what I do here, particularly. I mean, I don't know if a mute gaming YouTuber would work out too well. I mean, I just have to go pure gameplay and highlight form. Which, boy, I'm not a fan of making highlight videos. You see what I mean about me just ending up rambling and rambling? It's lovely. It's beautiful. Wouldn't change a damn thing about it. As the Vancouver Canucks, though, I did see they drafted Malta Stromwall. That could be big for them. He has been a beast consistently. But let's see here. The one thing you might be asking yourself that I didn't talk about. And actually, no, wait, it's not a factor, is it? It's not a factor. The unsigned prospects for Washington are gone because it was a fantasy draft, so we're good. We are good to go. So let me try to sign some players. Now, it's going to sign players at the AHL level for me no matter what, which is unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about that. But what I can do is go through and try to sign some players that we actually need. So we need 1 more goaltender, just as a 5th guy, as a depth guy. That is going to be Andrin. All right, or I could take Janssen because he's already 27. Johannes Janssen. You know what? We'll try to sign him instead. That's fine. That's fine. We'll sign him to 1-year deal. Now, see, the free agency, I was thinking, like, if I need to sign some players, like if players retire, I'll probably just sign the lowest overall guys. The one, you know, like, oh, the one player you can sign would be like, Darnell Nurse ended up being an RFA for Edmonton again. Do I want to be able to get him? Which, now that I think about it, even in saying that, I don't think I'd want to do that. I think I'd want to build this team straight up out of the draft. Now, we get Marlo Koppanen. I mean, what is going on with your hairline, pal? Man, I'm sorry. You're just like all forehead, aren't you? I'm going to give you a contract just out of pity. There you go. So let's see, that's what, 8 defensemen? I think. We drafted 7, right? We drafted 7, so 8. We'll go with another Finn. Surprise, surprise. That'll be our 9th. Let's go with Jokinen. He'll be our 10th. Irving as our 11th defenseman. Let's see, we want 14, so we need 3 more guys. Let's pick up Williamson. Let's pick up Itola. And our last guy, who do we want here? Who do we want? Who looks like a winner? Well, let's see. I mean, if we're going off of hairlines, we have one bad hairline, and then he has like just the stereotypical good haircut. So we'll go with you. Sure. All right. So then forwards, I've lost track of who we need. So let's go out, sign a couple, and then we'll take it from there once we're free and clear. So we'll send him an offer. Fortunately, you're not Roop Heinz, you're Mikko Heinz. But still, we'll sign you up. Castilla, sure. Who else? Who else wants a contract? You do, low AHL top 6 Mikko Virtanen. You would love a contract. And you shall get one. Jokinen. Marcus Jokinen will also get an offer, as will Jari Salio. Alrighty then. Send you an offer as well. Ruba, hell of a name. Maybe you'll be our captain. Who knows? Handemark. You notice we're just getting like the Finnish leftovers here, basically. And we'll send an offer to Forsberg. And that should be fine. Is that Alex Ranger? It is. Never mind. We'll send an offer to Alex Ranger. Now we should be good. Let's hope. Let's hope at least. So let's sim a little bit forward. Get our team set up. I might have to sign somebody too and get our cap situation handled. We might have to sign one of these guys to a max deal, which, yeah, we could use the cap. But let's see here. Everybody's accepting. My only issue is, will anybody decline? And I don't think so. So let's go to manage roster really quick. Let's get this team set up. I'll double check too if I have room to sign anybody else. So goalies, we'll have 264 overall goalies, which isn't terrible, although somebody, Fazio, would get sent back to junior. And like I worried, we'd be under the cap. So let's go and sign somebody else really quick. Although if I fucked up and signed too many guys, and now I can't sign anybody to that, one of those big time contracts, that would suck. We are at 50 out of 50. Well, how am I going to do this? Oh boy. Well, that's a shame. We might just have to keep the team the way it is. I didn't think we were at 50 contracts already. So that's a bit unfortunate. Let me see here. Do we even have like a full team? Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then from there, can we send these guys down to call up forwards? Please? Do we have to call up 3 of them? Apparently we'd still be under the cap. Oh my god, it signed everybody to 2.46 mil because they didn't have contracts. So yeah, our team is pretty much locked in because I can't afford to send anybody down. That's amazing. That is amazing. So yeah, our team is set. That is beautiful. Turn that off. Let's go best lines. There we go. There we go. Wow, that's fantastic. Do we have a defenseman playing forward? Yes, we do. Jalen Schmarek. Hell of a name, buddy. Hell of a name. So we have at least one defenseman playing forward. That is fantastic. And I guess Justin Fazio will be our starting goalie. That's sweet. And you know what? Let's sim a little bit, shall we? Because, of course, the fantasy draft portion of this went so quickly. Let's sim a little bit. We can't make any trades. We can't make any trades. Our team is locked in. Let's go. And actually, you know what I will do really quick? Let me go turn on auto-rotate goalie. Because this would be the right time for it. Because obviously I don't care what goalies play right now or not. That's completely irrelevant to me. So we'll turn that on. And let's just breeze through this shit, man. We have nobody on our roster at the moment that is of any relevance to us. These guys are just throwaway players for this entire year. Let's move. Let's just go. Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's see if we can make it through the entire first season here in this episode alone. And then if there's interest to keep this going, the next episode would be the draft video. The very first draft video where, judging by the preseason, we're going to have the first overall pick, and we could potentially take Nolan Patrick or Nico Hischier. Admittedly, I'd probably go with Nolan Patrick. I've used both in series of mine, but at the moment, since we have Nico Hischier in rebuilding Hockeytown, I think I would probably go with Nolan Patrick. We have 1 goal through our first 4 games. I just want to throw that out there. We have 1 goal through our first 4 games. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. You know, I should have known to sign some of the players. I figured we were good. I didn't think I had signed that many guys. I should have known, though, to just sign them to ridiculous contracts. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. How bad do the Rangers suck that they gave up 2 goals to us? How bad do the Rangers suck that they gave up 2 goals to us? That is incredible. But overall, like I said, I'm looking forward to your feedback on this series because, like I said, there are some tweaks we could make as far as the original. Wow, 12-5. The original idea was, no trading, which, people might disagree. Maybe they'll say, oh, you're allowed to, end up with this many draft picks if you want. Which even then here, at the start of this series, I don't think I could trade any of my players for a 7th. I don't think any teams would take that deal because of how bad our players are. So, I don't think that would be a factor. The free agent signing, again, if we wanted to say you can sign anybody, if you wanted to say you can sign players but they can't be high potential, or you can only sign certain people. Like I said, I want to know from you guys, like I do with all of my series. Let me know what you think. If we roll with this idea, what should we be able to do? Trading-wise, free agent-wise, or should those 2 options be completely off the table and it be legitimately based off of the draft? Now, that is what I'm set on at the moment, but if enough of you guys, like each other's comments and stuff like that, and agree, as we can just go best roster here, if enough of you guys agree with the comment, say a comment says, oh, be able to sign 1 player that you want during free agency, and it has, 25 plus likes or whatever, that's what we'll do. But I'm going to have to be convinced to change the current guideline of this series, because I want it to be difficult. And considering we have yet to win a game, if we win 1 game, I'm going to laugh. If we win 1 game, I'm going to laugh. And what's going to be great is seeing how the point totals, the final season point totals, because teams are getting free wins off of us every time. So there are going to be some ridiculous stats by the end of this year. Hershey, though, in fairness, have won almost a handful of games, so good for them. But we are currently 0-23. Nolan Patrick will be a cap. But again, who do we get in the second round? Who do we get in the third round? We're not worried about sending players back to junior. If we get a guy who's like a 60 overall in the 7th round, he's a capital next year because he is guaranteed to be an improvement. I genuinely wonder at this point, will we score over 100 goals in this season? Will we score over 100 goals? I don't think we will. I'm really starting to think that we won't. Hershey have officially won 5 games. We are still winless. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, let's go ahead and sim this entire first season. I am down for that. Let's just go 6 weeks on the 3 CHL leagues. As it is, a lot of players are going to be a shot in the dark outside of the top 2 rounds. So we'll see what happens. It's impossible to get a fully, to scout everywhere. Oh, it's not impossible. Obviously, you could set every location in like 1 or 2 weeks. Holy shit, we lost in overtime. We have 1 point. We have 1 point. Fuck you. That's amazing. That's 1 more point than I thought we'd have. How do you like that? The Washington Capitals have 1 point. And I should say this, Caps fans, this series isn't just a subtle shot at you. If I wanted to take a shot at a franchise and just have them be like, LOL, they lost every game, don't you think this would have been the series that I picked Montreal? Don't you think? But I'm nice. I could have easily trolled Habs fans. 100%. Every time I'm like, hey, I'm going to have a new series, people are like, Montreal. This could have been the time where I trolled the hell out of Habs fans by saying, oh, you want a Habs series? Here you go. But I'm nice. And to be honest, like I said, I picked the Caps because they're normally towards the bottom of the totem pole. As opposed to a team in the Metro like Montreal's not even in the Metro, they're in the Atlantic. As opposed to, a team like Montreal, though, that people really genuinely want me to use. As opposed to, say, the New York Rangers, which, again, people have really wanted me to use that team. The New Jersey Devils, a lot of people have thought those teams would be good for series. So that's why I went with Washington. Although, again, in bringing it up, a part of me is now seriously regretting not having this be a Troll Habs fan series because it would have been perfect. But that's all right. We'll be okay. And who knows? Maybe. Wow, we lost 14-1. Maybe we'll be able to turn the Capitals into winners in this series before they actually win a real cup. Boom! Caps fans, you're not safe. You thought you were safe because I said, no, it's not a shot at you, and I brought up Montreal. You fucking lost again. I bet money on you, damn it. I did. I bet fucking money on you that this was your year, and you blew it. You fucking blew it. You sons of bitches. Anyway, did I actually bet on hockey? I'll never tell. I did. Anyway, we have 1 point at the stage of the season. We are in February. We're going to be at the end of the year in no time. And actually, I have to bump the scouting down, I think. I will bump it down to 5 weeks to play it safe. Hershey, the Bears, have won 8 games. I'm impressed. I am impressed that the Bears have won 8 games. I genuinely am. I didn't think that would be possible. But, man, can we get a win? Who will be the one team that loses to us? Someone's going to lose to us. At best, we finish with 3 points this season. That's my guess. We're going to have one win. We're going to have one win. I'm not sure who it's going to be against, but it's going to happen. It is going to happen. As the injuries keep piling up, that's fine. As you saw, I didn't edit the sliders to drop it down to like a 9. That's typically the number I go with, so we do still have some injuries throughout the year. But, yeah, didn't do that yet. I'll do that once we, really start paying attention. For now, it's just sim and for the love of God, get to our first draft. That's what this is. That's going to be what the first few seasons of this series tend to be. It's going to be a while before we have a team made out of just draft picks. It's going to take a while. Like I said, if we don't make any trades, 7 picks in a season, it is going to be a long damn time before we actually have a team built out of just drafted players. Again, unless we decide that we can get one player from free agency or, set certain guidelines like, oh, nobody above medium 7th D potential for defensemen. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Who knows? Maybe I'm recording this, and it turns out people just aren't big on this idea at all. That could be the case. And then, hey, you know what? We focus on the series that we already have going. Do I think I can balance 3 franchise mode series at the same time? Well, we might find out. We might find out. I mean, rebuilding Hockeytown isn't going anywhere. Nation United just started. But for Ultimate Team, at least, Bork's Battalion may be near its end. Matthews versus Line just started. And schedule-wise, I'm feeling good. Do I think I can balance it? Yeah, I do. Will Be a Pro maybe take a back seat? Maybe. I'm not sure. For Be a Pro, I'm still trying to figure out if that series is something I really want to do. My bread and butter will continue to be franchise mode. It will continue to expand into Ultimate Team, as again, I've really enjoyed making Ultimate Team series this year, and I'm looking forward to what the end of NHL 17 will bring, and what NHL 18 will bring. We only have a few games left. We might not win a game this season. The New York Islanders are the one team that gave up a point to us. Can we beat the Bruins or the Panthers? Please? 5-0 shutout loss, and then against Florida in the last game of the season, we won a game! Holy shit, Florida! How are you ever going to live that down? The last game of the season, the Washington Capitals have won a game. Oh, that's amazing. That is incredible. The Washington Capitals have won a single game this season. We finish with 3 points. And again, look at how many teams finished with over 100 points. You notice how many Eastern Conference teams are in there. But let's see. Did we finish with more than 100 goals? We did not. 77 goals with 553 goals against. Almost 7 goals against per game. Oh my God. 8% power play, a 70% PK. That is fantastic. Our one win came at home. Unbelievable. That is fantastic. We won a game. Florida, you are shit. You will never live that down. We had a player. Look at the minuses. Oh my God. Minus 190 for Chris Rumble. Oh, you poor bastard. Holy shit, our leading scorer had 22 points. Mads Eller. Good for you. That's Lars' brother, isn't it? I think it is. Pretty sure it is. Still, damn. Oh my God, I don't even want to look at the goalie stats. I don't even want to look. Holy shit. Let's see here. 53 games for Pitton. He picked up our one win with an 845 save percentage. Oh my God, you poor bastards. You poor bastards. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I put you through that. Holy shit. Goalie wins. It was Schneider and Martin Jones. The rookie scoring race, we might as well take a look at it. We're already here. Mitch Marner on Calgary, 64 points. 61 for Matthews, 61 for Tkachuk. Wow, Matthews and Tkachuk ended up on the same team. And then you have Line out in L.A. And then oh yeah, you think Ovi enjoyed playing against his former team this year? Holy shit. Wow. Wow, man. Damn. That's fantastic. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. And we will sim. Oh, we'll sim to the end of this postseason. I gotta admit, part of me just wants to do the first draft here. But I want to hear from you guys whether or not you think I should be allowed to have 7 or more picks. So you know what? Maybe I will do the first draft here. I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty set in stone with just the 7 draft picks per year. I feel like that's a good way to go. It's obvious we won't make the playoffs for quite a while, but the goal here, like I said, to win 1 cup would be amazing. To turn this team into a dynasty is the ultimate goal. Whether or not we can do that, well, the beautiful thing about this series is that we'll be able to sim the first 5-6 seasons so quickly because we're not going to have to pay attention to the lines. We're going to be fine. It's just a matter of the details of are we allowed to sign anybody and stuff like that. Because that could create some interesting changes to this, to this series. Like I mentioned with rebuilding Hockeytown, the signing of Darnell Nurse really changed the outlook of that series and made us a whole lot better early on than we expected to be defensively. So we'll have to figure that out. But I feel like we're in a decent enough spot that we could probably do the first draft here. And then if we decide to make changes to the rules, we can do that for future drafts. But the Capitals went 180-1. The Islanders ended up winning the Cup. Syracuse Crunch won the Calder. So as I always do, let's go take a look at the winning team, the New York Islanders. Let's go take a look here at how they were set up. And then we'll do that draft, and then we'll end it after the draft because the re-sign phase, what I do there could change depending on your feedback. But Kucherov, Spezza, Frolik, Nazem Kadri, PK Subban, I will let you read off the other names, but they had a pretty decent team. Goaltender Corey Crawford and Roberto Luongo. That's a pretty damn good tandem. But there you have it. The New York Islanders win the Cup. We'll go through the awards, of course. See who took home the individual hardware. Ovechkin, the Art Ross, and the Hart. Tyson Barrie won the Norris. Interesting. Patrick Kane, the Lady Byng. Marner, the Calder. Crawford, the Conn Smythe. Schneider, the Vezina. As well as the Jennings. Chris Rumble! We got hardware! Are you kidding me? Are you... What? We won a game, and then we actually had a player win a fucking trophy. Yeah. No shit perseverance. Did you see his plus minus? No shit he has perseverance. The fact he didn't hang himself in the locker room yet is a miracle. Oh my god, Chris Rumble. Chris fucking Rumble. A legend of my, not even the series, not even my channel. Chris Rumble. Is he still with Binghamton? I'm going to have to get a Chris Rumble Binghamton jersey. What a beast. What a fucking beast, Chris Rumble. Way to go, buddy. Danny O'Regan, as we have to completely just keep moving forward here. Danny O'Regan, normally of the Sharks organization, takes home a lot of hardware. Matt Grzelcyk, the Eddie Shore Award. Did we get anything down in the AHL? No, we don't. But Chris fucking Rumble. He's captain next year. We're keeping him no matter what. Chris Rumble will be our captain. I mean, unless I have it be like Nolan Patrick, which could very well be the case. Like I said, I think we're going to take Nolan Patrick here. Again, I was trying to be like, oh, we're totally not. We might not get the first overall pick. No, we were getting the first overall pick. The only way we weren't is if we got screwed over by the lottery. But there you have it. we have the first overall pick. Let's do the first draft. As we do lose quite a few players. So again, the free agency might come into play where I have to sign some lower overall guys just to make sure that we have a team. As you get a look at the retired players list, at least the guys who have the most experience. But, if you guys were to say, oh, you should have been able to, draft more people. You should have been able to stock up on 7th round picks, for example. Even me saying that is making me thinking maybe I shouldn't do the draft, but we're going to do the draft here. 7th round picks, we might as well just say you could, fucking sign shitty AHL guys or shitty free agents, which is what we're going to do anyway. But there you have the list. It's always interesting. The list changes every time. Of course, we have a lot of creative guys here. But we are going to go with Nolan Patrick for sure. That's the way to go. Like I said, we have Nico Hischier in the Rebuilding Hockeytown series. So let's go with Nolan Patrick. Welcome aboard, buddy. You got a lot of goddamn pressure on your shoulders, don't you? That is brutal. We should probably look to take a goalie as well in this draft. Maybe Michael DiPietro with this next pick if he's on the board. As you get a look, I will just scroll through this really quickly so that you guys know who went where. And, DiPietro's gone. Ian Scott would be on the board. Liljegren was a first round pick. So Ian Scott would be on the board. We took him in Rebuilding Hockeytown. Let me look at the goalies really quick. Because we're going to need one here. So second round, you have Jake Oettinger. I need to learn how to pronounce that. And then later on, we have Luukkonen, Skinner, Hollett. And actually, Ian Scott dropped quite a bit. So third round, I'd say, is where we'll take a goalie. And it'll be any one of those guys. So here we can take whoever we want. And that's a good question. Who are we going to take here? We have Mackenzie Entwistle, Taiska, Gadjevic, Vakinen, Urho Vakinen, Stallion Mateo, Sasha Chmelevski, Salo, Safin, Schnar, Papugev, or I cannot pronounce his name. I just can't. Strom, Frost, Davidson, Comtois. Quite a few of these guys, of course, we've had in other series. Should I go with Oettinger here? Oettinger. I think maybe I should. I was tempted to put it off, but I think he'd be the best guy for the job. Highest rated goalie left. Yeah, you know what? I think, let's take him. He's going to be our guy for the moment. High starter potential, so that's not bad. But, yeah, I think that's the way to go. I thought I was going to put it off for a bit. We are going to miss out on some decent players here in the second round. Quite a few high potentials. But I think we'll be okay. We have our big-time game changer in Nolan Patrick. We'll be able to recover. And as it is, Luukkonen and Skinner both went off the board. Stuart Skinner is probably who I would have wanted if we did end up with Oettinger. So let's see here. We have a couple of familiar names. We are going to go with someone here in the second and third round. The highest rated defenseman left is Artyom Manulin from Swift Currents. And I think that's who we're going to take. He's the best rated defenseman in the draft, still available, that is. Medium top 6. That's actually pretty shit. That was a bit of a swing and a miss, to be honest. That was a bit of a swing and a miss. Well, then again, medium top 9. Maybe not. Never mind, actually. I mean, Newman, Cheney, Hollett. Hollett actually would have been a good goalie to pick there. So maybe we shouldn't have gone with Oettinger. Maybe we should have gone with Hollett. Although, I don't know if that's who I would have taken. Regardless, there were some good players. We didn't take Wedman, so we're doing all right. Let's see here. We're in the fourth round. Who do we have? We have Proner I really wish you could use EA. Please bring that back. Being able to use the triggers to cycle through. Please bring that back. I have no idea who to take here. Not a clue. We could try to get the Kleba brothers, but they'll both... I mean, the other guy won't make it to the later point in the draft. I'm going to say Proner or Plouffe just because it's 3rd to 4th round and they both have high league interest. Robert Proner, defensive D-man. Dylan Plouffe is a two-way from the Vancouver Giants. Let's go with Plouffe. You're going to be terrible, aren't you? High AHL top 2. You know what? That's not the worst, though. We've seen players in previous series of mine end up being pretty damn good from that potential. And considering he's going to be a top pair NHL defenseman, I think we're going to be fine. And, you know, drafting Saad would have been nice, but overall, I still think we're in a half-decent spot. It's just a matter of what am I allowed to do in the upcoming offseason. What am I allowed to do at that point? Now, Vladimir Kuznetsov does have high league interest. Aside from him, we have Ty Lewis and Schulthaus. Right. Owen Lane is available. As is Bellerive, Krivicic, Ethan McIndoe. I'm going to take Owen Lane. He is somebody that I wanted in rebuilding Hockeytown to at least be a staple of the AHL team. That didn't happen. I want to see what he can turn into. And maybe he can be a staple of this Capitals series for the at least, first decade of this sim. Who knows? Did I miss out on anybody great, though? Not necessarily. Yeah, everyone's pretty much in the same bracket at this point. 5th to 6th round, there is two guys with the high league interest. And do I have anybody scouted out that I know for sure will be decent? Not necessarily. Although I know Daniel Marmanland would be a decent goalie pickup, just from how much I've seen him in the series. So we have Christian Reichel. All right. And we have, not Nick Deacon-Poot, Alexei Moroza, the Russian offensive defenseman. You know what? I'm kind of intrigued by him being an offensive defenseman. And look, another player named Goalie. That's great. Two things that need to change about the draft. You need to be able to use the triggers to cycle through players. And please, I know it's such a low thing, and I know I bring this up in every one of my draft videos. Can we please have realistic names? Please, EA. FIFA did it. They went through, and you weren't getting Englishmen named Shang Tsung. And I'm sorry I just mentioned the most stereotypical Asian name of all time. But you get the point. That's a Croatian flag, I think? No, it's not. I have no idea. Is that? I think it is because of the checkered pattern. Anyway, Jeffrey Thompson. He should probably be American, right? Just saying. That's Austria? I don't think Brian Goalie's coming out of Austria. I mean, you can't tell me that you can't just go to the name generator and say, okay, here's... That's an afternoon of work for each nation. Tops. And yeah, the system to implement might be a bit difficult, but go to the most common Austrian surnames and first names, and there you go. So if I end up seeing, I don't even know a stereotypical Austrian name, I can't think of one, but let's just say, the only thing I can think of is American names. All right, better example. Yeah. No, I have no... You get my fucking point. That's what I'm saying. You get my point. Anyway, we're going to take this defenseman. I was tempted to take Reichel. We're going to take Moroza. How good are you? Medium top 6. I had a feeling, because he was clearly computer generated, that he'd be a better option than the human player, or the actual real player I was looking at. And in fairness, Reichel wasn't terrible. I don't think we could have gone wrong with either pick there. And we're already in the 7th round. We are already in the 7th round. I might take Marmanland. And in that way we have a goalie tandem for the future. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's take Daniel Marmanland. We add 2 goalies in this draft. And we are, in a half-decent spot. We get Nolan Patrick, we get some defensive help, and we also add 2 goaltenders. This will be a very interesting team. Will we win more than 1 game? I have a feeling that we will. Like I said, too, our fortunes could really change depending on what you guys decide I can do in free agency. If the answer is still nothing, then yeah, I'm kind of screwed. But still, there's some potential here. There is some potential here. But, it's like as far as these players go, I mean, it's very obvious Marmotland and Ottinger will be our tandem. But like I said, depending on what we can do, I'll probably just release all of these players and then look at the free agent list and either sign some players that are half decent, and by that I mean like AHL potential, or I'll just go back and sign the lowest overall guy. But yeah, we got some players that are pretty pissed off at us, that's for sure. Moroza's a 65, Rumble's a 64, he's going to be our captain. And then we have Manulin, who is a 63. Not too shabby there. And then for forwards, of course, we have Nolan Patrick and we have Owen Lane. What can those 2 boys do in their rookie season? They're going to be on the top line. No doubt about that. Guys, I have to admit, I am very eager to get this series going. Like, as I sit here right now, I'm excited for free agency. I am anxious to get this video up there to see what you guys think, to see if this is a series that you want me to roll with, and if it is, particularly, what am I allowed to do in free agency? Am I allowed that one big signing or that one half-decent signing? Am I allowed to sign any players under a certain level? Say for defense, say for goalies, medium backup or lower. Can I sign anyone I want from that range? For defensemen, it would be, say, medium 7th D or lower. For forward, medium bottom 6. Would that be the cap? That'd be the equivalent for defense and offense. Or am I not allowed to sign anybody except the lowest rated guys to fill out my roster, and we truly have to build through the draft? I want to know from you guys, so let me know down in the comments below. But just like that, our first season is in the books. So if we continue on with this, it's going to be interesting. And I am very much looking forward to it. And I hope you guys are as well. So like I said, I'm looking forward to your feedback. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about everything that I just mentioned. And until next time, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, of course, make sure to hit that like button, especially for this video. Let me know that you want to see this series. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, to continue potentially following this series, but definitely to follow my other ongoing series at the moment. And I'll see you guys maybe in the next one. We'll see. It's up to you.